KC at night.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. Oh, I've heard.
100 to 102. Today FM.
100 to 102.
KC.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Today FM at night. My name is KC, and on the phone it's Simon from Biffy Clyro. Hello, sir.
Hello, KC. How you doing?
I'm very good, my man. How's things?
Good. Yep, I'm great. Thank you.
The greatest three-piece act to come out of Scotland since the Proclaimers.
The Crankies and their dog.
The Proclaimers did have a roadie. That makes them a three-piece as far as I'm concerned. So listen, how's everything going?
Fantastic. Yeah, we are currently in California, just putting the finishing touches to our new album.
Okay.
And we've been here for a couple of months, and it's going really well. But we're almost in the home straight.
There's been a few rumours floating around about what the album is actually going to be called. Because are you doing a kind of a duo effort on this?
Yes, yeah, it's a double album. So each individual album has a title, but the whole double has one overall title, which is what we're going to kind of stick with, I guess, because we don't want to confuse people too much, at this early stage when there's too many names flying around. We want to try and make it a double album that can hopefully be as enjoyable to listen to as possible. We want every song to be essential, and it's not just to show how many songs we've written over the last few years. It's kind of with a purpose in mind. So we're keeping it as succinct as possible.
Why California? What's the attraction over there? It's to do with your producer, or just the studios in particular? Yeah,
well, the studios out here are incredible, but there's obviously great studios everywhere. But to us, to be honest, it was the sunshine. We basically wanted guaranteed sunshine. We're fortunate enough that we can kind of choose where we record, and we just thought, we're going to be working so hard on this record that when we've got a day off and things, we don't want to be stuck inside on a rainy day. So we want to kind of be able to go out in the sunshine and clear our minds.
Scots and Irish were very similar. If we go out into sunshine, we just burst into flames.
Exactly. It's been quite tasty. Yes, quite tasty.
Okay. Excellent. The idea behind this album and the whole reason for it, I presume you sit down, you have a production meeting, you go, let's do something like this. Where did the whole idea for it come from?
Well, fortunately, we still try and keep it as amateur as possible when we're doing these things, so basically we knew we were wanting to work with Garth Richardson again, the producer, and he had a couple of records he was in the middle of working on, so we had to wait an extra 4 months to start the album. Okay. And before we were done, I just kept writing songs really, and we ended up with 45 songs. And when we sifted through them, it reached a point where we literally couldn't pick our favourites. Once we were getting to about 25, 26, we were really struggling to pick which ones not to record. So then, again, when I looked through the songs, they very much picked different sides of a coin. The first album's kind of about things really getting on top of you, and you don't really see a way out of tricky situations and tough life situations. And the other one is the opposite mindset of that, which is you're just trying to make everything into a positive thing, and battling through different difficult situations. So the album kind of picked itself in that regard, which I know sounds a bit airy-fairy and hippy-dippy, but it kind of did, and right. So from very early on, we saw what we were kind of had to try and make, and it certainly made things a bit easier. It gave us an exact direction with what we were trying to do, and especially with so many songs, because if you're working with 10 or 12 songs, it kind of just happens, that your album just happens. But I think with 20 odd songs, it was just, we had to caress things a wee bit and just focus, and it kind of helped, it really helped keep things exciting,
I was just talking to a buddy of mine yesterday about a Smashing Pumpkins album called Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
It's a great record.
Amazing record. And that was value for money back in the day. That gave you 24 tracks on that album. So it's a good thing you're doing. These are recession albums, really, aren't they?
Well, I guess they are. I think we wanted to kind of do things as slightly old-fashioned. These days, maybe less is made of albums, and it's a lot more single songs that people will get into a band off one song and everything, and I think we just wanted to kind of step back and just do something, as you say, give people a lot to deal with, and basically it's for fans, it's for fans of the band, and and it's there's just a lot for people to chew on, and as you say, in these tough times, it's value for money, so it's a triple bonus.
But it's been a long old slog to get where you are. I mean, the last 4 or 5 years, Simon, have just been nuts for the band.
Yeah, we've been very, very lucky. We do this because we love playing music, but in the last few years, a lot more people have connected to our songs and have come to see us play live and things, and it is a great feeling. I'm not going to, we love it. It's great when more and more people kind of connect with your music, and people in countries that you've never been to can sing words that you've written, in your home,
sitting on the toilet or something. Yeah,
exactly. But it's just a magical connection, and I think, it's just been amazing to us that we were able to kind of do our thing for a while and just learn how to play music, learn how to write songs, without pressure, and we've just kind of reached a point now that we love what we do, and we're fortunate that people seem to like what we do too, or certainly enough people like it that we can afford to, go and tour everywhere and make records. So it's really a beautiful feeling, and because we do know what it's like when there's people not listening or people haven't heard of your band, and it's certainly an amazing feeling.
Simon, now that Biffy Clyro are a multi-billionaire Scottish rock band, do you think there's any possibility you could buy Rangers Football Club and use it for band practice?
That's not a bad idea.
I'm just a suggestion. I mean, they'd be delighted to hand it over to you, seemingly.
Yeah, no, I think they could use three footballers, 3 young fit Scottish footballers probably could to join their ranks.
We put out on Twitter today that we were going to be talking to you guys, so we got a couple of questions here. Bobby Buckley would like to know is there ever a chance of an intimate date in Cork again? You played in Cork years ago, didn't you?
Yeah, we played Cork a few times. Yeah, why not? I mean, we haven't really got our tour dates kind of lined up yet, but we've had such an amazing time every time we've come to Ireland. We came to Ireland very early as a band. I think on our first tour, all in all, over the 5 shows, we played to about 18 people. But it was an incredible experience. So, yep, we might come and try and play an intimate show at Cork at some point, but I guess I'm not too sure at the moment.
Yeah, but like 18 people and then later to play to Wembley, I mean, seriously, that's good going. So
strange. We try and not think too much about that. We still play like we're playing to 18 people.
Phil Tobin would like to know, have you ever got a reply from God or Satan?
No, I'm still waiting. My inbox is still waiting. God tweeted me one day, but I didn't see it.
Really? Okay, brilliant. James Clem would like to know, did Simon ever hospitalise himself from jumping off guitar amps? You busted your leg recently enough, didn't you?
Yeah, I totally ruined my knee at Glastonbury a couple of years ago, and I kind of pulled a tendon, and that was awful. I couldn't walk for about 3 weeks, and I've broken a rib jumping off a stage. But I went to accident and emergency, and it took 8 hours, and still no one saw me, so I just went home. I went home with my 2 broken ribs, just absolutely furious. So injuries follow me around, I'm afraid, Casey. I'm
sure you've been asked this a million times, but for people that may not have known, the whole kind of X Factor thing, I mean, were the band okay with that? Did you have any control over it? When Matt Cardle released the track, were you okay with it?
We didn't really have control over it, to be honest. We didn't want to kind of say too much about it at the time, but it's kind of a thing that you're publishing. We've got a publishing company that kind of work the songs, and it didn't really bother us too much because we kind of hope that people can see what kind of band we are, and that's not kind of the things we're involved with. But it's a TV show, and that's fine, and we were pleased for Matt Cardle, and it was a thrill to hear a song that you've written be at number 1, but it definitely wasn't on our list of things to do, and it wasn't really something that we were crazy about. But it happens, and it's fine, and it's so it's not the end of the world, but as I say, we don't have anything against Matt Cardle. Certainly he seemed to like good music. I think he was a fan of our band and kind of wanted to sing the song, so that definitely makes it a wee bit better that it wasn't some executive producer behind the scenes or something,
Yeah, of course.
What he thought was right,
And has the old royalties check landed yet?
Yeah, I think I must have done, I guess, but it's, as I say, it doesn't make, I don't think number 1s these days are kind of what they were, years
back
ago.
Back in the day, of course, yeah.
Back in the day, if you're the number 1, I think you could just retire, but no, it was, fortunately, it was, we could almost ignore it, it was certainly, we certainly made some money, which was nice, but that wasn't really anything to do with us, so.
All right, listen, we're going to let you go and get back to doing what you're doing and finishing off that album. The new single, we're going to play it a little bit later on in the show. It sounds amazing. I can't say anything more about it now because I got to wait till the next hour before we're allowed to play it. Listen, well done on everything that you've done. I know for what you do and for the band that you are, the three of you have an amazing reputation just for being really nice and excellent at what you do. So keep it up and keep on rocking, man.
Thanks so much, Casey. Appreciate that a lot. It means a lot. Thank you.
No worries, man. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
Take care of yourself, brother.
100 to 102 Today FM.